With family holding its place as the basic unit of a functioning society, marriage holds its place as the starting point for these families.
With this, the theological perspective on marriage holds great importance, since it serves as a guide to our generation on how we may have a God centered marriage and the generations to come. Let's get into it through discussing St. Augustine's teachings on marriage.
Roles can be defined as work or procreation. It takes effort not to only make a marriage work, but to also raise the offspring sprouting from a marriage.
Fides, meaning fidelity, pertains to the commitment and mutual service that a couple must have for one another. A man must fulfill his duty to his wife and vice versa. A quote from Corinthians chapter 7 verses 3 to 4 encompasses this concept well. It reads, not only are married couples expected to not engage in unlawful intercourse and adultery, but must also fulfill the duty of elevating each other's weaknesses and shortcomings as a couple.
Sacramentum pertains to the indissolubility of marriage, as well as the monogamous reality of the married relationship. According to St. Augustine, he affirmed that the husband and wife's friendship is the greatest, and that the love of the man for his wife is the most intense out of all loves, because she is united with her husband as one flesh.
St. Thomas Aquinas also shared his thoughts on this matter, elaborating on the properties that a marriage must have. First, offspring is the principal end of marriage, begetting and the education of children. Second, the secondary end refers to the entire communion that exists between the couple for the fulfillment of the principal end.
Pius and the personal dimension of love. Pius determined the marital act as something personal between spouses.
He maintained that procreation and the marital act are two inseparable concepts.
Vatican II's take on marriage expounds on their perspective that marriage is not only good for the sake of offspring, but also for the spouses. Through their partnership, there is a unity that they build and perfect day by day.
This can be considered as a more progressive take on marriage, where instead of focusing on procreative intent, there is also thought on the enrichment of the lives of two individuals who grow to be one.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 verses 1 to 9 expounds more on the value of sexual intimacy in a marriage. It is stated that it is part of their marital duty to have sexual relations with each other. As the man and woman become one in this partnership, they hold ownership over each other's sexuality and fertility, acknowledging the natural occurrence of sexual urges and emphasizing that mindfulness is needed to seek consent from each other.
There are four outline dimensions of marriage, first of which is marriage as a contract. As stated by the CCC, Catechism of the Catholic Church, marital consent marks the beginning of the marital relationship. It is that indispensable element that makes the marriage. The conjugal bond is designed with specific objectives in mind and requires that both partners fulfill certain duties and obligations to achieve these objectives, which include the well-being of their children and each other.
Marriage is a covenant. While a contract obligates a couple to abide by the law and the terms they have agreed upon, a covenant involves a stronger level of trust, affection, and love between partners. Hence, marriage is a love covenant as detailed by the canon law of the Church. Marriage is a sacrament. Marriage is transformed into a sacrament through the mutual exchange and acceptance of each other by the couple, which in turn mirrors the love of God to those in their surroundings.
Marriage is a divine invitation to participate with God in the process of bringing new life into the world. It is also a call to work with God as stewards, not only as co creators, but also to nurture and shape this new life for the betterment of the world. In conclusion, the theological understanding of marriage emphasizes the importance of love, trust, and mutual agreement between partners, and the responsibilities that come with the commitment of marriage. This perspective highlights the significance of marriage as an integral part of personal and societal well being. It encourages individuals to approach it with reverence and respect.